I swear months are starting to get shorter and shorter as time goes on, because we are back to more Blue Exorcist, more of peak manga. And this was another good chapter. It got through it relatively quickly, and some really nice character interactions, and as well sets us up for the actual, seemingly final confrontation for the series against the main enemy forces. And overall, once more, the thing that sells this chapter, as well as the recent ones, are the character interactions. It's something that I love about Blue Exorcist so much, and this chapter fully encapsulates it. I've had so many smiles from these recent chapters just from these characters, and this chapter is no less amazing when it comes to that. It even gives us more insight into some of the side characters, like the other exorcists, and even the Illuminati towards the end of the chapter, with us getting ready for what is to come. But before we get into this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel. Blue Exorcist is one of my ultimate favorite manga, and the reviews have been doing decently or very well, so I want to keep these videos up every single month, as well as make more Blue Exorcist content in between chapters. And liking and subscribing to our channel will give me more confidence to make more content for Blue Exorcist, as this is a very underrated and underappreciated manga that is still ongoing right now. But with all that said and done, let's get right into the chapter. Now, before anything, I just want to say something. I made a video a few weeks back on Blue Exorcist and why no one's talking about it, and I talked about the potential of the new anime coming out. It was recently pointed out to me multiple times in my comment section that apparently there was a translation error when they were talking about the new anime project, and that it's actually confirmed to be Season 3 of the anime, which means we are going to be getting Season 3 of Blue Exorcist, starting off with, I assume, everything leading up to the Illuminati arc, which is one of my personal favorite arcs in Blue Exorcist, and I really hope that that thing bangs. So, just wanted to clarify that we're getting Season 3, it's not a reboot unfortunately, but Season 3 is still pretty good, and for sure, after we get the announcement that 100% confirms it, and we get a trailer, I'll make a video on the trailer, and I'll probably make videos to catch people back up on Blue Exorcist, as well as explain some things from Blue Exorcist as we lead up to when the anime will eventually return. Okay, that bit of news out of the way. Now let's get on to the chapter. Chapter 144 of Blue Exorcist of One Cloth Signs, Part 2, as we start off with the X-Wires eating some curry and talking to each other, as they're reminiscing about the forest camp at the beginning of the series, which is when Rin had to fight a Maimon, and his identity as Satan's child was basically revealed. And I like that this is kind of like meta joke that is stated by, I think, Yukio, as it feels like 15 years in the past, which is kind of funny because we're gonna be inching close to Blue Exorcist's 15th anniversary, because the series started in 2009 of April, and it's 2023. So in 2024, we're officially gonna be 15 years of Blue Exorcist, which is just crazy. But yeah, this chapter starts off with the X-Wires talking over curry, laughing, as we cut over to the adults, as I like how they're just split up into the adults and the kids, as the kids are just having fun even though they're in this end of the world type scenario, and the adults are kind of like sitting around in silence, as they're just being like, yeah, this is probably gonna be our last meal, as Shura's just like wailing and complaining the fact that I just got a new lease on life, what the heck, this is the end of the world already, I should have gotten married, I don't care who it is at this point. And I like how everyone is speculating that Shura is just drunk, because so many times in the series when she just has outbursts, she is drunk. But I just like that she is sober and just having this outburst, because it's funny, because she has had a new lease on life, and now the world's ending. It's hilarious. I love Shura and she's awesome. She then asks Nahas about if he's married, and he's just looking at her in a menacing way, being like, how dare you ask that? But yeah, he ends up just stopping and says, I'll be reunited with my wife when I die. So yeah, very morbid, and even Shura's apologizing, be like, I'm sorry for bringing it up, because yeah, his wife's gone. But then Lucy then brings up the fact that I don't need to be with my family after I die, and she literally just states she's had a good marriage. She was married to a good man, and talks about her family. 6 children, 8 grandchildren, 11 great-grandchildren, as well as more people in her family that she's kind of lost count over, but at this point she's kind of tired and she's lived a bit too long. As we get introduced to one of her distant relatives, basically just saying that she is literally a monster that would never die at this point, since her familiars basically use their blessings to keep her in physical good shape, which is how she's been an exorcist at her age. Now, this section early on is just us getting to know a bit more about these side characters. Osceola, he's stating how he was married but had no kids, and he was too busy with work, so he kind of screwed the pooch on his marriage, so he's basically alone. And Shira does bring up if he is lonely. But then he looks over as lightning returns, as he just came back for his tools and is gonna, like, take some curry in a lunchbox to go back and scout the area once more. And I just like how Osceola just states that he has taken care of Lewin for over a decade at this point, and he didn't really have the time to be lonely, and that Lightning is, you know, nothing but trouble, but he's learned how to get along with people as he looks over at him talking with Bond and everyone else as he goes over his supplies, and says that he has no regrets. As Shira looks at him and then looks at Rin, Yukio, and all the X-Wires as they're all sitting together and just smiling and having a good time, reminiscing about the events that have happened from the beginning of the story up to now, as Shira just has a nice wholesome smile, just says, yeah, same here, as she doesn't have any regrets either. And it's just really nice. I love Shira. She's probably my top three characters of Blue Exorcist. Well, not just her story, but the fact that she is quite literally the big sister of that entire group of X-Wires. She's taught them a lot, especially Rin and Yukio. They're literally like a close-knit family at this point, and it's just nice, it's wholesome, and seeing her just look over all the kids that she's seen grown over this short period of time she's been with them, and having no regrets over seeing them through their very short time together is just really nice to see. Bond brings up what everyone's going to do after they survive everything that's going to happen, or if they survive. And I like how Shima's being like, don't say shit like that. Do you want to jinx us? And yeah, that is literally like death flag right there, my guy. Don't say stuff like that in the end of the world. But Bond's like, whatever. I'm just going to practice for the certification exam. As Izumo then says, I'm probably going to study too, there's not much else to do. Konako says he's going to study also and finish developing an app. And Yukio's going to be like, now that you mentioned it, I'll get some exam problems ready for you guys. Because literally, up until he brought this up, I completely forgot. He is technically their teacher in a higher rank, and he is actually a higher rank than them, which, after everything that's happened, and it's been a while since I reread Blue Exorcist, I completely forgot about, as they basically be on an even playing field for a while now. So that's something that I honestly glad I remembered. But Shima goes on to say, look, if you survive literal hell on Earth, come back, do what you've always wanted to do. And when he's asked what he's always wanted to do, he says, become a pop idol. Which I love how everyone is just teasing him about it. But we know that a potential future, he is actually like an idol in the future, kind of. He's in commercials and stuff like that. He's famous. So he'll be able to do so. But it's still crazy. We're still in the point where we might actually get to that dark future, which is still something that I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to work out. But Rin, he begins to say, if I come back alive, I'm going to eat ramen. I'm going to eat gyoza and fried rice. I want to eat lots of food. And I like how it's just like, you can kind of do that already anyway. But Rin brings up the important fact that once again, I forgot the time lapse here, but he spent like half a year traveling through the past, witnessing Fujimoto's whole backstory, and he literally had nothing to eat but energy bars provided to him by Mephisto for half a year. So of course he wants to have all these different foods that he hadn't had in like half a year. Which technically, I think everyone started the series around like 15 years old, I believe. And I think he's 16 now. And with this, he's probably closer to 17 if it's been 6 months. So 16 and a half at this point. And then Shimi casually brings up, that's actually similar to what happened with me. I trained in a world where time passed by very quickly. Now I'm like 18 years old. Which stuns everybody for a second. Really quick. Anime manga community is probably going to have a field day knowing that, yeah, Shimi is 18 years old now, and she is quite literally the oldest in the group at this point. But no, in all seriousness, this basically confirms how long she had spent training, so at least 2 years. About 2 years, she was training in that time chamber to get stronger to basically save the world. So I like how this was dropped casually, but yeah, I just love this because we knew time elapsed for Shiemi quicker than everyone else, but I had no idea what the exact time frame was for her training, so about 2 years seemingly, so that's nice that we finally got a confirmation. But everyone's reactions to this is kind of funny. Izumo realizes, wait, now that I think about it, your hair is longer now, and Rin says, yeah, that's why I thought something was different about you. Makes sense, you're 18. And everyone's like, hold on a heck. You're 18. You're basically an adult now. You grew up without us. As, yeah, Shiemi says, well, I have matured a little, but then everyone's like, yeah, no, you didn't really mature at all. We didn't really notice until you said something. And I'm pretty sure this is Shima stating this, but he's like, huh, you're like, hey, surprise, I'm the big sister of the group now, which honestly makes sense. I mean, we have Shura, but now we have Shiemi, and she basically is the big sister of the group if we really think about it with how she acts with everybody. But then Rin pats Shiemi on the head saying like, besides, you haven't gotten any taller, as she then does the classic eep for, you know, anime characters that have crushes and stuff like that, as she gets all shy and flustered over Rin, as Rin apologizes, like, and she's like, no, it's okay. As some random exorcist just comes on and says, okay, listen up everybody, bedding's ready, time to turn in for the night, as everyone's like, okay. Anyway, Bond says he's got orders, he has to head back, and says he'll see everybody tomorrow. But Izumo goes over to Shiemi and calls out to her, asking if there's something that she needs to say. As Shiemi is not sure what Izumo means, as she puts it out bluntly, you like Rin, don't you? As Shiemi literally gets so embarrassed, she covers Izumo's mouth and tells her to be quiet and hush, which is hilarious, because I remember so far back in Blue Exorcist with the Impure King arc, Shiemi basically friend-zoned Rin when Rin was like crushing over her very hard, and now over the course of this series, and I think it's probably because of that 2 years alone, she finally comes to terms that she likes Rin. So it's kind of funny how she's like kind of trying to grasp her feelings on Rin, someone that she considered a very close friend, and now she's developing feelings for. I find her reactions funny. It's stereotypical in anime, but it's fun because it's Shiemi doing it at this point, because you never really had these types of reactions towards like Rin or even Yukio, which it's just nice to see something new at this point. And I think it's kind of nice because she did spend 2 years away from all her friends, and now she's realizing her feelings for someone that she's known for a long time. But Shiemi goes on to explain why she can't tell him now, because it'd just put him on the spot and it'd make everything more difficult. As Izumo's like, no, as she's just looking at her with a disapproving look, as Shiemi's just kind of panicking over Izumo's like disapproving look, because Izumo says it very bluntly, you might die tomorrow. You'll regret not telling him, and calls Shiemi a coward, as Shiemi just goes on to say, look, right now isn't the right time. Once more, Izumo, putting it bluntly in our faces, which I think fits her character a lot, because she doesn't shy away from telling people how it is. She just goes on to say Shiemi's role and her reasons without Shiemi having to say anything. She basically just says, because it's the end of the world and you're Shimihaza and you have to save the world and everyone's life is at risk, and you're an adult now, right? As Shiemi's like, yeah, that's how it is. As Izumo just says, as far as I'm concerned, none of that matters. As this is just shocking Shiemi, as Izumo just says, look, you don't even have the courage to tell a boy you like him, so how can you save the world? It's very blunt and very harsh, as even Shiemi is like basically broken and just in awe as to how Izumo just put everything on her plate and just put this out on her face. And this reaction shot of Shiemi is just hilarious. I have no idea if I'm just gonna make this part of the thumbnail. I might make this part of the thumbnail just for shits and giggles, but this is just one of my favorite Shiemi reactions at this point. But then Izumo, after saying all this, says, well, it's none of my business, so why do I care? Good night. As Shiemi's like, that was just mean. I don't know. These two have some of my favorite interactions. They're best friends. And Izumo just literally just saying things how it is for Shiemi's own sake is literally one of the main things I like about her. And it's not just for her, but people she cares about. I just like Izumo. She literally has had the best girl spot for Blue Exorcist for the longest time, with Shiemi just slowly occupying that space, because I love Shiemi as well. They kind of have a nice balancing act. But as Izumo is walking away, she's like, I really said too much, as Bon just casually brings up, so, Shiemi's into Rin, as Bon was still in the area and he heard everything, and Shima basically liked to eavesdrop. So, yeah, I just find that kind of hilarious. So, Bon just says straight up, don't you think you were a bit harsh on her? As Izumo just says, yeah, I know, but I couldn't bear to watch all that. And I just like how Shima brings up how she basically said French poodle back when she reunited with Shiemi, as even Izumo is embarrassed by that, saying that he shouldn't criticize others. Everyone has trouble with their own situations. And yeah, I just like how Izumo, in frustration, it just wants to get Shima off her back, just brings the fact that he's a spy and he hides all kinds of stuff, as even Bon joins in the situation, being like, hey, with the war with how it is, how's your spy work going? And it's just hilarious how the two of them are just grilling him like their parents, and Izumo's like, haha, I win. What a guy to have on your side, huh? As Bon is just like, yeah, but at this moment I'm just glad we're all together. And Izumo just says, yes, so am I. As Bon is just laughing at the fact that she is, I assume, just glad to have everybody all together in this group. As am I. Their interactions have always been my favorite part of Blue Exorcist, and this chapter is just a real treat. Anyway, Lightning calls Bon over, as he ends up saying goodnight and heads over with Lightning, as Izumo just starts to slowly head off to bed. As we then get to see the enemy's stronghold, Satan Castle, if you will, as Iblis, one of the Demon Kings, greets Aegon, and they reunite as Lucifer greets them on a throne with a bunch of IVs on here, as he talks to these Demon Kings, his siblings, as well as members of the Illuminati, stating that a catastrophe has befallen Satan, and yet everyone here has survived. As then, someone appears. It is Astaroth, possessing the character, the bully from Chapter 1. I remember this happened such a long time ago, but I completely forgot about this character, and apparently people did kind of forget about him. But yeah, he shows up blustering that he's going to finally meet their father. He's finally going to help and assist them, as everybody's trying to tell Astaroth that Satan's not here anymore. Lucifer just straight up says Satan's no more, and that the Knights of the True Cross used some secret weapon that basically made Satan disappear, and he's in a painful state. But Lucifer goes on to say that, yes, his power, Satan's power, is in the land, but this right here is his core, the fortress of his heart. I was get a nice big spread of basically Satan Castle, Satan's fortress, as you will, protecting his heart, where the Demon Kings and the Illuminati are in. We then get more explanations in some brief panels showcasing Satan encroaching upon Asia and slowly destroying it. As, well, Lucifer says, and like the god he is granting the Illuminati's prayers. As Astaroth just begrudgingly and starts to break down, being like, oh father, why did this have to happen to you? He lost his vessel, he lost his ego, but he still leads us forward. As everyone just looking over on him, being like, okay, the demon god is even more powerful than we thought. As Iblis just hugs Aegon, saying that they're gonna create a paradise for demons. As then Lucifer's right hand swats away a familiar of Lightning's. As, yeah, Lightning heard a lot of what just happened and has a decent idea of the situation right now. Lucifer then begins to say that the Order grows desperate as the annihilation of Asia approaches. They will attempt to stop the heart. As now, he makes a hologram showcasing the map of this whole fortress. As he goes on to state that the fortress holds the heart. It's supported by 3 buttresses and surrounded by a maze. A 500-meter wall surrounds the maze, and a single large gate is the only way in. And how to get through that gate is by no means obvious. If they try to climb the wall, it will erupt in blue flames. Even going near it will prove dangerous. In some areas, a powerful curse will diminish the power of the little demons, with a particular focus on anything flying. the enemy must assail the 3 buttresses and the main gates, so they must allocate their defenses in 4 separate points. As Lucifer leads it to his right hand, Homare, as, yeah, he states that Father's blessings can be dangerous in the conditions that they're in, because it could end up endangering these demons and the Illuminati as well. And that also goes for the Order. So, brief thing to go over, as we literally just stated, the only way in is through that massive gate. There is like 3 different maze areas, and the heart is held up from 3 different areas across this giant fortress that was created around Satan's core. So, when they enter, they're basically going to get through a maze, an army of demons, the Demon King, the Illuminati, and they can't climb over walls, otherwise blue flames will erupt and basically engulf them. So, yeah, that is kind of... They're walking into a slaughter. The Knights of the True Cross, the Exorcists, they're basically going to walk into a slaughter at this point, since the Illuminati are going to use this to their advantage and mount a counter-offensive. Because unlike last time, where it was complete utter chaos, now the Illuminati have the upper hand. They have a fortress. They can, well, more likely than not, protect themselves this time and have proper defensive measures. Lucifer then casually shoots a beam of light at one of the Illuminati members as they fall to the ground, as we see a steaming creature appear from its body. As Lucifer points out that it seems that they missed a spy, and apparently that it was a ghost parasite that infected one of their men, so now Lightning has heard everything. The change in locations, the stuff about the walls, the gates, the buttresses, everything. So now they have all this information that they need to get ready to use. But Lucifer just says, look, the Order is desperate right now. Osseous destruction is within sight. As the final panel of the chapter states, if we successfully defend Father's heart, victory is ours. Ending the chapter, and we won't get another chapter for another month. Blue Exorcist, really great. I like the character interactions. Shemi is 18 now, so anime community is going to go crazy and wild with that, I guess. She is 100% into Rin, and Izumo just wants to confess already. Their friendship is wholesome. I love it. We now also get basically the adults just being like, I got no regrets in life. Things have happened. We'll just face whatever comes to us. Sure, a brief instance of this chapter, I loved her interactions with the other exorcists, and her just coming to terms with the fact that, yeah, I saw these kids, I'm seeing these kids grow up, I taught them all I need to know, I have no regrets. And the Illuminati basically has seemingly all their fighting forces, 3 Demon Kings, well technically 4, counting Lucifer, as well as the Illuminati, and this giant fortress with only one way in, multiple mazes, in different areas holding up the fortress. And now, even though Lightning knows everything of the outputs and the layout of the enemy stronghold to an extent, the Illuminati know they're coming. So, they can't prepare. They have 4 Demon Kings. Granted, Lucifer is always 1 foot in the grave, but he's still incredibly powerful in and of itself. So, I'm curious what's going to happen. I see Astaroth potentially fighting Rin or something, because I think he was trying to possess someone in the beginning of the story. I still gotta reread it, but that would be a really nice rematch to an extent, because Rin can actually use his powers to fight. Either way, I'm curious to see how these matchups are going to go, because the Demon Kings themselves are definitely going to have solo matchups against certain people, and the X-Wires are definitely going to have to fight as a team. Rin, I want to see Rin fight Lucifer. Rin and Yukio fighting Lucifer is something I really want to see, because the twins. These 2 brothers, I need them to fight together. Have some kind of combo plays. It'll be great. And how this arc is going to play out, I have no idea. But I do want to try and get some videos for Blue Exorcist worked out in the future. Me thinking of how these matchups can be, or what could happen in the future. I have no idea. I still need to think about it, and I have other stuff I want to do for the channel as well. But either way, that was the chapter. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below of everything we had in this chapter, between the character interactions, Shemi, the Illuminati, the layouts, and how this siege on the Demon King's castle essentially is going to play out. And are you excited for Blue Exorcist when we finally get an anime? Because next week is when we're going to be getting an announcement on what the heck Season 3 or whatever this anime is going to end up being. We might get a trailer. So fingers crossed it's going to be good and it comes out soon. But with all that said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry this was a bit longer than normal, but it was a good chapter. I had to talk about it at length. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps me immensely and makes me more motivated to make videos on this series. And with all that said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you all have an awesome day.